Oh, hello there, Site 42 staff, as well as those of you from the greater SCP Foundation, and welcome to another Dr. Sherman's Office Hours, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site 42. As always, I am Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director and Head Containment Specialist here at Site 42 of the SCP Foundation. And as always, as I have done for 6.5 months and counting daily, because the daily streak remains strong, I am here for the next approximately 3 hours to answer any and all queries you may have about the inner mysteries of our place of employment, the SCP Foundation. So if you've got questions about the anomalies we contain, the staff that contain them, the groups of interest who get a bit salty, I will say, about the whole containment thing, or hypothetical containment procedures about anomalies that fall outside of the SCP Foundation's purview, perhaps they're from a different multiverse or pataphysical narrative level, i.e. fandom, I am here for you. But before I begin the Q&A, let me start with a little housekeeping. Forest Eye, congratulations on being today's most punctual Containment Hazard Assessment Team member. Congratulations for being first in the chat. Alongside Dr. Puppeteer, Dr. Frogman, Chestafactory, Billy the Go-Goat, America, Bombus ADHD, Zeardrin, Amber, Junior Researcher Sally, Silent Follower, Scarlet Fox, Puppet Boy, and Dr. Puppeteer. There's always 2 puppets. I gotta make sure I cover both. Dark Shadow Fang. Everyone who I have just named, thank you for being exceptionally punctual. Thank you as well for being members. We appreciate your membership and your service. And finally, Brady, Joey Smith, Intern American, Kyo Kono, and Leah. Welcome to stream. Thank you for being punctual, and thank you for being here, just for being you. Now, continuing our housekeeping, a reminder that there is, in fact, a brand new SCP Foundation live-action film. It was released just the other day. It is called I Do Not Recognize the Bodies in the Water, SCP Horror Film, SCP-2316, here on YouTube. It was made by friend of the channel, Andrea Joshua Asnikar. As of streaming right now, it is at a current almost 10,000 views, and Andrea has gained 200 subscribers since its release. And I do think we can do better than that. We need more people to go watch this 45-minute long SCP live-action film about You Do Not Recognize the Bodies in the Water, as well as several other Class of 76 anomalies. This is like an entire episode of Supernatural, but it's SCP. It looks real good. You should watch it. Why haven't you watched it yet? Have you watched it yet? I bet you've watched it. If you're here, I bet you've watched it. Whew. And so let me just, from yesterday's stream, be sure that for anyone who's catching the VOD here, the link will be in the description of today's stream, so that as soon as you're done watching the VOD, you can go to watch this film. Or, I mean, if you're watching the VOD, you could also just stop watching this and go watch it. I'm fine with that. The link will be in the description as soon as I copy-paste it from the previous stream. Boom, boom, and a boom. It is now in the description. Please go watch this new live-action film. Let's get Andrea Joshua as Nikar. Some more hype, some more engagement, some more views, some more subs, some more resources to make further SCP projects. Andrea, a couple days ago, came on the stream for a quick interview after the release of this film and mentioned that he wants to do something next in the Resurrection canon. The Resurrection canon? Are you kidding me? We need to support SCP filmmakers in general, but especially this one. Okay. I am coming down off of that. Whew. Excited, but I'm a professional. We have things to do here. I finally got proof that the Serpent's Hand don't always protect anomalies. SCP-407. We destroyed that one. I'm sorry. You've caught my interest. Now I need to investigate. The Song of Genesis. Yes, a song that creates life. I am familiar with this one. 407 has been deleted from the system by what is now known to be the Foundation as the interest group Serpent's Hand. All known backup copies of 407 have also been deleted. Refer to Incident Report X23. Yes, it seems they did decommission our copies of 407. Are we sure that they got rid of it completely, or did they just not let us have it? Shaken by doubt, heavens that do not hold back the daily light. Do you not see the blindness with which you walk and swing your blade? On the final day, would you have us contain Black Suture himself with measures of science and condemn ourselves to rotten stagnancy as you hold back? Ask you not to act, but act with enlightened heart. Neither one should be seduced. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, holier than thou magic hippie talk is what I see here. Okay, so did they destroy all copies of it, or they just not let us have it? That's what I'm getting confirmation of right now. We do not know. The Foundation does not know if they actually destroyed all copies of it or if they only destroyed our copies. So do you have evidence that they actually deleted it all? That's what I have questions for you. The Cheese Foundation. Welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Perhaps you were a member of the Foundation infected by SCP-1600, the Philosopher's Cheese. This could be why you are a Cheese Foundation. Alright, let's refresh this back so I can see the chat again. It says all known backup copies of 407 were deleted. Yes, that's for us, the Foundation, in our systems. That doesn't say that they completely destroyed the anomaly. That says that they destroyed all of our records of the anomaly. I gotta move this. This is in my way and it's messing up my flow. There we go. We're better now. I want to hear more about the cheese. Well, the Cheese Foundation, that does make sense for your user handle. SCP-1600, aka the Philosopher's Cheese, is quite simple. It is a fluid that when poured upon solid matter, it turns the solid matter into cheese. this cheese has the characteristics of whatever matter it was transmuted from. And so wood would turn into a dark yellow hard cheese that many describe as dry and crispy. Gold, 98% purity, turned into a soft and satisfying yellow cheese. Mercury turned into a black, soft, and elastic cheese, which thankfully, while viscous and tasteless, did not poison the eater with mercury poisoning. So it transmuted it in a way that it would not harm. We also, we tried it on a redacted SCP. That certainly was a choice. But yes, it's all there in the 1600 document if you want to check it out on the database. Do you stream every day? Intern Spectral. We have been streaming daily for 6.5 months. In fact, in streaming every day for 6.5 months, we have somehow accidentally qualified for the Streamer Awards. And so if you are not familiar with this, inside the support link, which is pinned in our chat right now, or it's in the description for you VOD watchers, you can go to the Streamer Awards nominations and you can submit Site 42 for 5 categories in which we qualify. Best Vertical Streamer, Best Just Chatting Streamer, Best Roleplay Streamer, Hidden Gem, and League of Their Own. So hey, if you have not voted for us for the Streamer Awards, let's give it a shot, eh? Will we win? Probably not. But will we force some people who are judging this and looking at the nominations to have to look up what Site 42 and the SCP Foundation are? Will the confusion in their minds entertain me greatly? Yes. So thank you in advance for your vote if you haven't, or thank you for your vote if you have. Wait, there's a fried chicken Jesus? Not that I know of, Billy the Go-Goat. What are you talking about? We have SCP-3305, Bread Jesus. We have SCP-029-J, Uber Driver Jesus. We have SCP-4477, Cockblock Jesus. We have SCP-5991, Vor Jesus. And we have SCP-6542, Milk Jesus, aka Jesus. That's a fair amount of Gezi, but I don't know about fried chicken Gezi, so fill me in at what you're talking about here. Doc, read the Discord general chat. It's funny. I will catch up with it later off stream. That is not a stream activity for me. I'm here for the chat. I'd submit to Uber Jesus if he's a quick driver. Anomalies are its. All of anomalies are objects, not people. That means we refer to them with its pronouns. Not he, not she. All of the Gezi are its. Please practice proper pronoun parlance protocols at the Foundation. But yes, Uber Driver Jesus does have a sick ride and is a very quick driver. But you are still not allowed to worship the Gezi. It is against protocol. Do not treat them like religious deities. That's worse than humanizing them. Please do not submit to worship anomalies. Then aren't you an it then? No. I work for the Foundation. I'm allowed to have my proper pronouns, thank you. What kind of SCP is Zeus? Isn't Zeus in containment? I seem to remember Zeus being here, or at least mentioned. SCP Zeus. In SCP-4500, The Cold War, Zeus is a member of an organization analogous to the SCP Foundation, depicted as having successfully contained a powerful Keter-class threat by dropping a mountain on it. In SCP-6810, which describes a military campaign led by Zeus in ancient India around 1100 to 700 BCE. So, not classified as an SCP, but is an entity running around. The bread god is not an anomaly if you mean the garlic bread god. No, I'm talking about bread Jesus. Completely different from the garlic bread god or any deity, therefore. Well, you didn't deny being anomalous that time. That means you're questioning it right now. No, Forrest, I am stuck in a quantum superposition of being both anomalous and non-anomalous, thanks to indecisiveness of my author. Ow! It turns out that in some past canons, I may or may not have been anomalous at different times. So I just dodge the subject now, so I don't get chastised. $32.50 was the article. I looked up Jesus, and it's the second one down in the search. Okay, $32.50 you say. Let's take a quick peek. See what you're talking about. Jesus fried chicken. No, isn't this that everyone who does this sees Colonel Sanders as Jesus? Yeah, no, this is just people thinking Colonel Sanders is Jesus. Not the same thing, not the same thing. Colonel Sanders is not fried chicken Jesus. I'm sorry, Colonel Sanders is what? No, it's not that. Listen. Here. Jesus fried chicken, when you eat Kentucky fried chicken, then you start to perceive Jesus Christ looking like Colonel Sanders. So this makes all depictions of Jesus that you see Colonel Sanders for a short time after eating Kentucky fried chicken. That's all. That's all. If you go to church after eating Kentucky fried chicken, you'll see all the stained glass windows of Jesus, but it will just be Colonel Sanders. Why? Who knows? Well as in this document, you might actually find out. Cosmo and Ghostbusters. Welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. So you can worship the fish loop, but I can't worship the bread god. Well, first of all, Puppet Boy, it's not a loop, you heretic. It's an infinite fish. It is not a loop. Get it right. It has a head and a tail. Loops don't have heads and tails. Checkmate, heretic. Furthermore, we're not actually worshiping it. It's an inside joke, you lame-o. You know, you cannot worship, for real, bread Jesus. We spoke yesterday in the film comments of I do not recognize the bodies in the water, and I ask you if the fish is not a loop, where is the head or the tail? We are following the body with drones in both directions. They are getting farther away from each other, not closer to each other, as they would if it were a loop. We will find the head and we will find the tail, but it's pretty hard with an infinite fish. So, we will see. Science continues until we figure it out. And anyways, very quickly onto our loose stream subject of the day. Who here is familiar with SCP-3108? codename the Nerfing gun. Because honestly, if I had the run to pick any anomaly that I wanted to play with for a day for funsies, I would pick up the Nerfing gun. Because SCP-3108, the Nerfing gun, as pictured in the thumbnail, but for those who don't want to leave the stream to check, it's a heavily modified Nerf gun with anomalous technology. And its claim to fame is that whatever you hit with its foam dart will magically transmute into a worse version of itself. So let's check our testing log. We got a dartboard made out of sisal fibers. I don't know what that is, but it's probably high quality. When hit, it turned into a cork dartboard. And in fact, various holes and a beer stain appeared on the cork board. Furthermore, an 8x11 sheet of printer paper, hit by the Nerf dart, turned into a single-ply toilet paper. One spare coffee mug from the cafeteria was replaced by a teacup composed of ceramic identical to the mug. So, whoever shot that perceives tea as being weaker than coffee. I like both coffee and tea, so I'm not going to futz here in a battle between the two. We shot $1 with the Nerfing gun. It turned into a quarter. A 75% reduction in funds. Please don't do that to the budget. 1 can of Coca-Cola was transmuted into 1 can of Pepsi-Cola. So if you shoot someone with it, do they become a weaker version of themselves? Well, let's check. D4281, a 28-year-old Caucasian male, was transformed into a living specimen of Homo neanderthalensis. Neanderthalensis. There we go. To test the limits of what it could do to a human being, we then took D3578, a 24-year-old Hispanic male. Similarly, after shooting it, it turned into a... as we continued to proceed, shooting it again and again, it went from Homo neanderthalensis to Australopithecus, an unidentified member of the gibbon family, a specimen of Bradypus pygmaeus, footnote, more commonly known as the pygmy three-toed sloth. On 9 occasions, the transformation did not result in a change of species, but instead resulted in visible evidence of maiming, disease, or disability. Following 46 successive uses, testing was ceased as D3578 had been reduced to a specimen of Lumpricus terrestris, too small to accurately be hit by the dart. Notes, due to concerns from the Ethics Committee as well as the possibility of accidental creation of a Homo ignotus specimen, testing of this anomaly on humanoids is suspended effective immediately, pending a hearing. So, yeah, there is our testing on humans. Furthermore, once we told the creator of the anomaly that we tested it on humans, well, it was, they weren't happy with us. The creator was very, very upset. We have a document of the interview and the rest of the log here on Site 42 YouTube, if you want to listen to the whole article of SCP-3108, the Nerfing gun, and see what would come of it. Not great, to be honest. Oh, and just so you know, we also did test this on SCP-682 already, and unfortunately, it actually made 682 more dangerous, because we would perceive that as worse. Very frustrating. Robin St. Pierre, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a bean and cheese burrito on your way past the commissary. 42 Black 6, this is 42 Bravo 7. Have you considered studying SCP-2882-OC, a very rare neurotype, an anomalous subtype of autism, immune to all type of amnestics? Because there's a lot of instances. I'm not familiar with this anomaly. I don't have anything slated for it. So then, in theory, using the nerfing gun on a fire would make the fire harder to extinguish. Well, can you actually hit fire with a dart? Because, reminder, the only dart that works with this anomaly is the one that we have with it. You can put other darts into it and the effect won't happen. So if we risk that test, we end up burning the only dart that works, we lose the anomaly. So we shouldn't try that. But Robin, yes, if you have a instance of this for testing and you can confirm it's actually anomalous, then sure, throw it into a lab and tell me what your results are. Puppet Boy, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Get yourself an order of chips and cheese on your way past the commissary. God hit me with one of those when I was born. Are you a Homo Neanderthalensis? Neanderthalensis. It's such a weird word to say. How would the Philosopher Cheese react to the Peanut SCP? Also, I think the Lorax should be an SCP. He's extremely powerful. Well, remember, the Lorax, while not an SCP, is still an anomaly, and therefore it's an it, not a he. Please practice proper pronoun parlance protocols at the Foundation. But furthermore, yes, as an anomaly, it is off the wiki and it was created by an outside creator, therefore we cannot utilize it in that way. The SCP Wiki does not accept unoriginal stories. But, I mean, consider this. The SCP-173 statue is made of concrete and rebar. So what you would actually be getting is a cheese with the qualities of either concrete or rebar, depending on where you poured it on the anomaly. But of course, you would then be damaging an anomaly, which means we would have more trouble testing it in the future. So we wouldn't let that fly. We would just test it on concrete and rebar properly if you wanted to test that. Goose, thank you for your thank you for your 2-month member message as a level 1 researcher here at Site 42. We appreciate your membership and your service, especially the research you're doing to help us win the battle against the white names. So is the dart or the gun anomalous or both? It seems to be the exact combination of the two. It's kind of like you have to have a key to turn the anomaly on. So they are both anomalous in a way when they interact. The Peanut SCP, you know how you have to look at it so it doesn't kill you. It's an it, not a him. It's a statue. It doesn't even have a gender. Please call it an it. Please call it an it. It's an it. Jiminy sakes. Happens if you don't look at it, but it stays in your peripheral vision. Well, if it's in your peripheral vision, then you can see it. But if you blink, you die. Wouldn't the nerfing gun make S729-J worse too? First of all, Ethan, it is unnecessary to bring up that thing in the first place. And second of all, possibly. But that thing did also destroy 682. So, it is wholly possible it is either immune to it or it will become something even worse, which I don't want to happen. It's already bad enough. Damn my bad, bro. Apology accepted, intern flying. We are the best of the best here at the Foundation. We need to be in tip-top shape at all times. Breaches of protocol are what lead to deaths. We don't like deaths at the Foundation. It's a waste of resources. The Living Scarecrow, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself an Uncrustable on your way past the commissary. Nice hair, mate. Only came to say that. Have fun. Well, thank you very much. Just got it done last week, and it's still vibrant now. We'll see how the colors fade over the course of time between the time of appointments. We'll see how it naturally fades. Fashion, self-care, making yourself presentable and respectable. All parts of being in charge around here. Site director is half about logistics and half about leadership, captainship, charisma. So you got to be on top of your gang. You can't look weak. Doc put the cheese stone on SCP-682. It's not a cheese stone. It is a fluid that you can pour on things to turn those things into cheese. Now, number one, I can only imagine how terrible and rotten an SCP-682 flavored cheese would be. Now, we do know that the portion of 682 that would turn in the cheese would just fall off of 682, and 682 would regenerate from that. So we do know that it's not going to terminate SCP-682. Have we done Philosopher's Cheese on 682? I feel like I'm remembering this. Experiment log for 682, searching for 1600. Yeah, no, that's a time code. Okay, so we have not tested 682 with the Philosopher's Cheese. We did test it with 3108, and as long as I'm here anyways. Tissue was transformed, so when we tissue tested a piece of 682 with the nerfing gun, tissue was transformed into a piece of Uroplatus fimbriatus, otherwise known as a giant leaf-tailed gecko tissue. So 682 tissue turned into giant leaf-tailed gecko tissue. So this was promising. If we could downgrade its evolution to that of a gecko, it would be easier to decommission. But D-1782 was instructed to enter 682's containment chamber and shoot 682 with the nerfing gun. After missing 6 times due to fear, D-1782 successfully hit 682 with the nerfing gun. However, instead of becoming inferior as expected, 682 began to grow larger and gained the ability to explode whenever threatened and then reconstitute itself. 682 eventually breached containment in this state, causing double-digit redacted casualties. 682 was successfully subdued by gunfire after it returned to its normal state and was recontained. Notes. I have a theory on what just occurred. SCP-3108 causes things to be, quote, inferior to the subject, right? Well, 3108 transforms 682 into something that would be seen as worse and inferior by the Foundation. Larger and stronger, strong enough to break containment. 682 decreasing in power wouldn't actually be seen as inferior to us. Signed, Dr. Westron. So yes, that is the exact record of what happened in that case. Robin St. Pierre, thank you for donating again. Doctor, this is Captain Redacted. Here, have an OQDB Petite Floride to relax. 6.7 alcohol, I forget ABV, but ABV. Shouldn't be that bad this time of day. Also have a redacted free rest of your day. You deserve it. Well, thank you kindly. I did have a very long afternoon. You will notice that this is one of the, not the latest I've started stream, but it is later. I was doing a little shopping at the IT department today. In case you are a fan of Dungeons and Dragons, friends of the channel Quests and Chaos were showing me around some tech that they use for their camera work in broadcasting Dungeons and Dragons campaigns. I'm looking to upgrade our laboratory setup for future gaming streams, as we've been talking about. I would like to rebring those on, especially as YouTube integrates horizontal and vertical streaming simultaneously, and a united chat, meaning that both the vertical and the horizontal chats would be together in one universal chat, which makes me very excited. I would like that to happen. And when they unveil that setting, which they are working on, I would like to be able to play some more SCP games on stream and hang out with you guys. But in the meantime, our friends at Quest and Chaos showed me a good shopping list of technology that I should be able to work toward. And a facility for if we were to do some gaming streaming or group games, we might be able to collaborate in the future. So if you're familiar, you can check them out here on YouTube in the meantime. Dark Duality, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a slice of lemon meringue pie on your way past the commissary. Can I borrow the nerfing gun? Want to use it on the suit dude. He keeps following me. Well, I would rather work on a diplomatic basis with said anomaly, especially since it seems to have some sort of extra universal powers that we are not familiar with. I don't feel like devolving the entity would cause us great joy after what we saw what happened to the humans. If anything, it would make it more unpredictable. So I'm going to have to decline that offer. Why not use OBS to do both at the moment and still have the combined chat? Though that would probably just be on your end, not our end as well. Well, A, you are correct. It wouldn't be for you guys. It would just be for me to see. And when I was doing the gaming streams and I had vertical and horizontal going at the same time, I could only see one or the other. I had to flip between windows. It was really inconvenient. Looks at the SCP-TTRPG. I've never actually seen that played, so I'm sure it'd be interesting to see friends on an SCP channel to run through it. Friends of an SCP channel to run through it like a session or two of it. I think that could be very fun. Ripe for collaboration, I might say. Hi, Dr. Sheepman. Not my name. What was the first anomaly you read? I remember the first SCP I read was SCP-662. Well, I'm very sorry to say that my introduction to SCP was something like 12 to 13 years ago. And over the course of several treatments of amnestic, due to the traumas we face here at the Foundation, I don't actually remember the first article I found. I simply remember using, my earliest memory of SCP was using SCP entities in the Dungeons and Dragons game that I was DMing. So that is my earliest memory of the SCP Wiki. Hey Doc, I thought it was late, but I forgot daylight savings time. Junior Researcher Caroline, that was me yesterday or 2 days ago at my day job. Because now that most devices that are linked to the internet update the time automatically, I just went along my day completely forgetting about it. And then I saw the analog clock at work and got very confused for a moment until I figured out what was going on. Dr. Knight, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a handful of fun-sized candy bars on your way past the commissary. Dr. Knight, another day, another homemade prophecy to stop. If everyone in the world suddenly has an obnoxious roommate named Chuck, we failed. Well, I especially hope you succeed because most of us don't have spare rooms for roommates named Chuck. I do not need the population of Site-42 doubling because everyone now has an extra roommate. Do your job and stop the Chucks. Rebel Commander, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a bowl of steel-cut oatmeal on your way past the commissary. The Ethics Committee would like to remind you to stop calling humanoid intelligent beings it, especially nice ones. How would you like to be called it? Don't lie to me. The Ethics Committee's policy is why we call anomalies its, except for in very rare occasions where it's important to their mental health and containment security, because of which to do so. The only time we refer to a humanoid anomaly by its preferred pronouns is when it is important to their mental health, because unpredictable mental health and their anomalous abilities being unpredictable could lead to a containment breach. If that's not it, they are its. That is from the Ethics Committee. So, don't play games with me now. Site 42 staff, I want to award you your kudos because you have successfully got the like count above the viewer count at the 41-minute mark of this stream. Congratulations, team, for hitting that like button so damn hard. The YouTube algorithm will now surely bring us more people, fans of SCP who didn't know we were live, because that happens all the time, and non-fans of SCP who will be shocked at our intense fandom, the knowledge we have of the wiki, our rugged handsomeness, and will decide to stay with us and learn more about the SCP wiki. And that's how we get them to help us support the SCP wiki and its authors, artists, animators, game devs, filmmakers, merch makers. So thank you for your service. Mobile Task Force Sci 42, codenamed the Signal Boosters. Dark Duality, thank you for donating again. That would be a very angry gecko if it worked. Yes, that would be a large boy indeed. Still grumpy, but easier to destroy. It's a shame it didn't work. Low Key, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a... You know what? I want you to grab yourself a Crunchy Taco Supreme on your way past the commissary. What group of interest do you believe has the strongest possibility of undoing the veil? And have you ever eaten at Ambrose restaurants? Well, I'll answer the latter first. Yes, I have in fact been to Ambrose's establishments multiple times. The things you see there, baffling. The way that a food can, just by simply being digested, affect your brain chemistry in such unique manners to refresh memories you never knew you didn't have from a different universe. It is... the only word for it is sublime. Furthermore, the strongest odds of a group of interest breaking the veil, you say? Groups of interest list. So, the thing is, so many organizations in the world of the anomalous are just as interesting as keeping humans away from knowing the truth as we are. So, the way I've heard this said, I like it a lot in the Dresden Files book series, is that while the world of magical is vast, it is nowhere near as vast as the population of humanity. There's just so many more humans than anything else. And while they are not anomalously powerful, while they are not very strong individually, when you get a mass of humanity, and you get their armies, and you get nuclear weapons, a lot of things can be damaged very quickly that way. So the anomalous world likes being on the side of the curtain away from messy people. Remember, a person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, stupid animals, and you all know it. Thank you, Agent K, for that very easy line to relate to. So yes, most anomalies here are not even going to try to breach the veil. For instance, Marshall, Carter, and Dark has no need to breach the veil. They're doing just fine. The UIU, the GOC, like us, they want to preserve normalcy. They just have different resources and or ethos on how to do that. Now, the Serpent's Hand, they do want to appoint anomalies uncontained, but even they don't want the anomalous world completely revealed. Who would it be then whose mission is purely to open the veil? I'm going to guess the anomalous religions. And I'm going to say the most likely is going to be either the Children of the Scarlet King, because, you know, once they summon Exodia and the Scarlet King lands in our universe, normalcy is fucked, humanity is fucked, the universe is fucked. But we're doing a pretty good job of keeping them at bay. I think the Fifths we really got to watch out for, because all of their ooh-woo hippie Scientology religion stuff, they are just coming across like a normal religion until they got their hooks in you. And they are trying to proliferate vastly. So honestly, they might be the come from behind most likely to breach the veil. I'm going to go with the Fifths for today. But who knows? There is no canon. Maybe next time you ask me, I'll come up with a completely different answer and logic. Refreshing the chat. Fresno, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Go and get yourself some kombucha on your way past the commissary. AI is getting scary. Have you seen Sora, its own SCP? So yes, there are a lot of worries about the generative AIs right now. Now, of course, the immorality of stealing copyrighted works to train them on, big problem. The electricity and water usages, the resources, the money that's being spent because power bills are going through the roof, problematic. The weakness with which the tech companies have not found a good way to monetize them. I mean, the app for Sora is just TikTok but for AI. And they're trying to get advertising but on a paid service where every time you make a video, it costs them about $5. There's no profit margin there. It's failing. The AI bubble is going to burst hard, and the American economy especially is going to crater because of it. Oh, I do not look forward to the pain that's going to be caused by that. Let alone the propagandistic use of AI in political ads. Let alone the President of the United States diarrhea F-16 jet. Or the AI advertisements of mayoral candidate Zoran Mondani done by the Cuomo campaign. This is a scary time to pay attention to fake news and just make sure you double, triple confirm anything you see. Because woof. Upside for the Foundation, protecting normalcy will be so much easier because no one will believe anything anyway. Just wait until we have AI video technology that creates whatever is created in AI in the real world as well. I'm sure Gamers Against Weed are going to cook that up eventually, and then we're all doubly screwed. Exponentially screwed, even. Rebel Commander, thank you for donating again. I've worked to change ethics committee rules. You think that your campaigning is going to make a difference to the ethics committee? Have you seen the ethics committee orientation on the wiki? Have you seen the ethics committee orientation? Because that is real nasty. Dark Duality, thank you for donating again. Heck, even I was called it my first 2 years here. Yes, unless you are a respected member of staff, if you're an anomaly, you're an it. You get your pronouns back when you prove your loyalty. Moad, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Apologies if I mispronounce your name. Raccoon Dog, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself some papusas on your way past the commissary. Hey Doc, can you tell us about... You saw nothing. Can you tell us about a favorite anomaly to study or do tests on? Well, as I said at the beginning of the stream, 3108, amazing fun to test on. Very unpredictable results. Everything's a good time. Plus, I can transmute... No, it goes the other way around. Never mind. Still, 3108. Top tier experimental anomaly. But I'm gender fluid. How can you steal my pronouns? Because, intern caution, if you are an anomaly, you are an it regardless of your preferred pronouns. That's the end of it. If you are a contained anomaly. Will you ever continue reacting to Find Us Alive? Intern Goose Goose, great question. Part of my shopping for technology earlier was improving my tech in a way that would make recording reactions to Find Us Alive a lot easier. There was a cumbersomeness to the process right now that I'm trying to upgrade my technology to make that streamlined so I could do so more often. So yes, it is on the table. If anything, just because I want an excuse to listen to Find Us Alive some more. Pardon me. Rebel Commander, thank you for donating again. ASL said call one ASL member, it negotiations are off. The Amos Sports League said call one ASL member, it negotiations are off. I'm a little confused about your grammar there. Can you clarify? The Amos Sports League I am familiar with, but what is the... Site delta on top, you say, Render, as you always say. Sometimes you just gotta be glad that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, and Render will say Site delta on top. Thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a Wafa Thin Mint on your way past the commissary. Experiments gone wrong. Thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself an ice-cool glass of melonade on your way past the commissary. Unalivement by SCP-999. Yay, tickle tickle. How are you going to die from SCP-999? I guess by sticking your head in it and choking to death would be the way? I mean, yeah, possible, but 999 doesn't want to harm you. It will probably recede before you suffocate. So I wouldn't even try that. You would make it very sad. Too Fast for You. Thank you for your first 2 donations to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a handful of marshmallows on your way past the commissary. What if you put SCP-7? Q9 -J. In Shy Guy's cell. And what even is that thing? All I can find of it is some sort of demonic... That's what it is! Read the log on the database. You'll know exactly what it is. And in fact, furthermore, I do believe we have tested that thing with 049 or 096 before. Even typing it into the database is disgusting. Wait, did Where is it? 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 There we go. Control F. All right. SCP-096 was tested with that thing. Unfortunately, its effects were completely data expunged, except for a note following the research. Note, poor 096. No one should be subjected to that cotton-stuffed eldritch horror. Long story short, 096 was in a state where it cared more about getting that piece of redacted out of its containment cell, which is why the incident was concluded with relatively low casualties. At least we know what it looks like. I heard one of the researchers call him hot, and I don't know if that is disturbing or if I agree. Signed, Dr. Seraphim, excerpt from interview with Dr. Redacted. Unprofessionality, calling an anomaly an it, instead of an it. Unprofessional, calling an anomaly hot. I don't like any of this. But now you know. Clip C, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Coming back to refresh the chat. Low Key, thank you for donating again. Is the Chaos Insurgency interested in destroying the Veil just because it's sort of an extension of the Foundation? Also, how real is the CI threat? So, the Chaos Insurgency is a terrible organization with awful morals and goals. That much is easily known. I have to get used to the size of this new keyboard upgrade. Part of the problem of the CI is you are dealing with, they are basically just existing in opposition to the Foundation. So depending on how in-universe your Foundation is evil, that might make the Chaos Insurgency chaotic good, so to speak. Not that I would ever buy that. It is also said, at least in this post on our SCP, one of the problems some people have as fans of the wiki is the Chaos Insurgency has the most there is no canon of their motivations. Sometimes they want to break the veil, sometimes they want to hold up the veil. Sometimes they want to release anomalies, sometimes they just want to destroy the Foundation. Wishy-washy motivations due to author decay, so to speak. Celadonio, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Voidly, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as becoming a newly minted Mobile Task Force captain here at Site 42. We appreciate your first donation and your newly minted membership. Make sure to grab yourself a Frito chili pie on your way past the commissary. Nice hair, dude. Well, thank you very much. Just had the color palette switch from Peacock to Tropical Sunset. Pardon. Still a little sick after having the conversation about that thing. Ugh. Dr. Sherman, my cat Oliver is screaming at the screen here. I want you to know he is trying to get your attention. Well, hello, Oliver. Are you keeping a good eye on intern Kiyokono? Are you making sure they're getting their work done? Are you getting your work done? Keep up the good work. Oh, and Voidly, thank you for sending 5 Site 42 memberships to today's Containment Hazard Assessment team. Everyone, throw some W's and or member emojis in the chat for Voidly's generosity, on top of which, if you get a membership from them, make sure to thank them personally for their generosity in helping us win the battle against the White Apes! SCP-458 is an endless pizza box that displays the user's favorite topping of pizza. I think you mean dispenses, not displays. Upon use. Which one is yours, and what is the weirdest thing to come out of the box? So for me, my favorite pizza vacillates between 2 very similar options, which means I know it's garbage pizza. I know any New Yorker or Italian or Chicagoan is going to get pissed at me. But I enjoy for myself a thin crust Pizza Hut meat lovers or pepperoni lovers pizza, depending on the day, with extra cheese. Give me some meat, give me some cheese, thin crispy crust. C'est magnifique. It's what I had as a kid, and it's always going to stick in my mind no matter what. And some of the best damn cold pizza you could possibly have. Some of the best damn day after pizza if you're going to have that. Yeah, I see you haters. Intern Mike does stuff. Do you have the racist Italian pasta over there? Are they on your keyboard right now, voice to texting, to talk with a very stereotypical racist Italian accent? Is that what I'm seeing over there? Do not let SCP Al Dente-J talk on stream. That is rude. It is very rude. Voidly. Voidly Squared, thank you for donating twice again. Thank you for your exceptional generosity today. I feel so silly. Well, the chat appreciates your silly generosity. You're both helping the Site 42 coffers so we can make better and stronger content and help support the SCP community. You're also giving them green names, which members of the channel get green names, so they're more likely to be seen in chat. The membership badges that evolve the longer you're a member. The custom emojis. And they are immune to slow mode, I recently found out. So we have a 30-second slow mode to allow our moderator to handle things without being overwhelmed by spam. But it turns out that members can just type whenever they want. I did not know this until this past week. Very interesting. So, thank you again, Voidly, for your generosity, because you just donated another membership. Another green name in the pile. Continue growing green name army so we can defeat the white names. Thank you for your generosity, Voidly Squared. Low Key, thank you for donating again. You should try Emos from Seattle. Armed Area 5, Seattle. STL, that is Seattle, right? I mean, I'm always up to try new things. I love trying new pizzas and new snacks. I'm a try everything twice kind of guy. Too Fast for You, thank you for donating again. I have a question. If a new SCP just appeared in an empty cell and was extremely friendly but extremely dangerous, what is the protocol for tests for security? Well, are they friendly and they're going to stay in the cell? Because then, yes, we would just ask some questions, and we will try to figure out what's up. And hopefully, they stay put and don't cause a ruckus. Amber, you're saying STL is St. Louis, I see. Desk inform him he's bad at geography. I've got it. I've driven through St. Louis once, but I didn't stop. It was part of a long road trip. But delightful. O5 Council, Experiment's Gone Wrong. Thank you for donating again. You said the O5 Council approves of my work, Site Director? Of course they do. I am on the O5 Council's good list, not on the naughty list. I know how to handle business around these parts. And Voidly Squared, thank you for donating again. Buy a pizza for yourself. Well, I am pretty hungry, and you are inspiring a lot of pizza-related thoughts right now. It might be a pizza night here at Site 42. We'll have to see. Griffin Plays Games, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Apologize, Dr. Sherman. My entire family has that accent. Okay, that's all you needed to say. I am too used to being trolled by SCP Al Dente-J. So my bad. I thought you were doing the racist Italian pasta. Don't platform the racist Italian pasta in my chat. That's all I have to say. Heh. Rebel Commander, thank you for donating again. The Anomalous Sports League president said call one member of the American Sports League Anomalous Sports League, and it and not their proper preferred pronouns, and all negotiations are off with the ASL. Be careful. Well, they're not contained anomalies, so that's not the same thing. When they're outside the Foundation, we have to do diplomacy with them, yes. In our documentation, we will refer to them as its. But when talking to them and negotiating, we'll still call them what they prefer so that we don't have a problem. Think tactically, people. Voidly Squared, thank you for donating again. Next stream, you should eat a pizza. Well, tomorrow's a Wednesday. Is 458 coming to the facility? Is tomorrow pizza day at Site 42? SCP 458. A large-sized pizza box of pizza chain Little Caesars of their hot and ready variety. Thankfully, it doesn't just spawn Little Caesars pizza. That would be so annoying. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've enjoyed my share of hot and ready pizza. I was in the theater department. You know how we do. Dr. Sherman mukbang. Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm considering the logistics. You haven't convinced me yet, but I'm considering the logistics of a pizza stream, in which would be the same as a normal stream, but I just sit here and eat pizza. How dare you, I love Little Caesars. I'm not going to blame you for liking it. I'm not going to diss on it in your life. I'm glad you enjoy it. It's just not my favorite. I think it's a little bit cardboardy for my taste. Not as bad as Domino's, though. Ooh, Domino's. And the problem is, Domino's did that whole shtick where they're like, yeah, everyone hates our pizza, so we'll renovate it. And it got good for a little while. And then it got bad again. Not cool. I couldn't eat in front of a couple hundred people. Well, I mean, it's just a pizza. I miss you pizza. It's just pizza. It's not going to be a huge deal. Low key, thank you for your incredibly generous donation to today's stream. I appreciate you helping us out in our cause here to boost our signal to the greater SCP and further beyond to grow the SCP community. And so for your generosity, besides what you're getting from the commissary already, listen. I want you to go into the secret break room behind the vending machine in the break room. And once you get in there, you're going to pull up the carpet, the rug, and you're going to find a wooden door with a big, heavy iron handle. And you're going to stomp on it in the pattern. That's the good guy knock. You do the first part of shaving a haircut, and you wait to hear the return. Once you do that stomping, they'll respond back, and then they'll open that panel for you. And down there, I have the SCP-458 from another universe that we put through the Clockworks machine on very fine. For your generosity, you enjoy that for the night. Thank you again. Which SCP-001 is, in your opinion, canon? And do you have a personal favorite while we're on the topic of 001s that absolutely definitely isn't real? So, I know for a fact my favorite SCP-001 is Lily's proposal, codename The World's Gone Beautiful. I just think that is a delightful, short piece of evocative, beautiful concept right there. So that, above all, is my favorite 001. Just get out, flutter the heart a little bit. But the true 001... Normally, I wouldn't say this because the whole point of having multiple 001s is that you need to keep the actual 001 secret. And that's part of the thing, so I won't normally tell people. But since you were so generous on this particular question, everyone else, cover your ears. Earmuffs, this is just for low key. So everybody, earmuffs, cover your ears. Tell me you're covering your ears, and then cover them. And, okay, security's out of earshot. The real SCP-001 is the friends we made along the way. Oh, desk, Java name was funny. Java name was funny. Let it lie. Let it lie. Comic gold. Matthias, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Rebel Commander, thank you for donating again. He no longer wants you to call anomalies it at all. Listen, we are negotiating with them for diplomatic reasons. They do not get that minute scale of how we run our business. They run their business, we run their business. We work in cooperation, but we're making concessions as well. So, they do not get to dictate to us how we run our organization. Thank you. Dr. Sherman, what is your opinion on Hawaiian pizza? Sausage, bacon, pineapple. Well, I'll tell you this. I've never heard of Hawaiian pizza with sausage, bacon, and pineapple. Usually it's ham and pineapple, and sometimes with onions I've seen. But I've never seen sausage and bacon on a pineapple pizza. That said, I am a very strong proponent and proselytizer for the wonders of sweet and savory combinations. Pineapple is just fine on pizza, as are many other things. I had myself a pepperoni sausage and hot honey pizza the other day, and that was Detroit style, which I didn't even know Detroit style was a thing until I tried it. Pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. Experiments gone wrong. Thank you for donating again. When is the next? It's not an SCP, but if it was vid. So, I'm currently working on 2 scripts. I have brought in collaborators to work on those 2 scripts. And we are doing our best to format them so we can make it happen. I'm also hoping to upgrade the camera tech, as I told you earlier. That way, they look a little better as we go. Dr. Sherman, what if you gave Josie the half-cat pizza? Well, intern counsel. What are the rules about giving cheese to Josie? What are the rules? The rules are don't. The garlic on the pizza can, in fact, kill Josie. I did not know that cats were allergic to garlic. How sad for the Italian cats out there. I like a Hawaiian pizza, ham and pineapple with diced jalapenos. You know, here's my problem with jalapenos. I've never liked pickled jalapenos, okay? They've always rubbed me the wrong way. Just they're squishy and weird. But I found one Tex-Mex restaurant that dices fresh jalapenos into their burritos, and oh, that is so much better. They got a crispity crunch. They're fresher. It's like a vegetable. So much better. And in fact, one time when I went to Walt Disney World in Florida, Orlando, Florida, the Mexico Pavilion takes an entire fresh jalapeno and muddles it in a margarita like mint in a mojito. Oh! That was such the freshness. It was a delightful, anomalous beverage. Your pronunciation of that pepper has caused me physical distress. Understandable, intern Kiyokono. We do like to troll around these parts from time to time. I apologize for any physical distress you have gone through. You will not be compensated, though. I like to drink pickle juice. Pickle juice is really good for you out on a hot day. It's got electrolytes. I don't know what electrolytes are, but plants love them. Meanwhile, out at the Renaissance Fair, you're walking around in costume, you're sweating. Get yourself a pickleback shot of whiskey, chase it with pickle juice. Mwah! That is how you have a good time out in public. Hardy har har, desk. Oopsilon is a stupid pronunciation. Low key, thank you for donating again. Light containment zone decontamination will occur in T-minus 5 minutes. All biological substances must be removed to avoid destruction. I didn't order that. Who did that? No! No, stop that. We cannot... Is this... No, security logs. Who approved this? We would have to move so many things. No, not on my watch, not right now. Whoever ordered this is getting shit canned for real. All right. When I find out who ordered that without giving our team enough time to remove all the anomalies, oh, you're going to have some problems. But thank you for the alert, so I was able to cancel that order. Doctor, what happened to your hair? Well, intern fell. Site 42 has an on-site stylist, as most SCP Foundation sites do. And ours is particularly talented. And so I got some sweet style. Terragal, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a bagel on your way past the commissary. I have papers that you need to sign, Dr. Sherman. Something about an SCP being transferred through the site. My question is, why were they given to me? That is a great question. You should not be the one giving transfer orders. I am sure, man, that that's not the right person in the chain of command. So what the hell gives? What is going on today with everyone ignoring proper protocol? First, an unnecessary decontamination, and now this? We're gonna have words later. Don't make me call an all-staff meeting. I'm liking your autumnal-colored hair, Dr. Sherman. Well, thank you, intern Snake. That's what we were going for. We were going for a tropical sunset, but that also goes with autumn leaves, so it all works out. Did my dono go through? Blake Arnold, I do not see a donation from you. It must have not worked. Perhaps you need to reset your YouTube app to try again and rejoin the stream. Because I am seeing nothing of the sort right now. I sent a dono through the Ko-Fi. Oh, okay. Let me double check that. That might be the, I might have missed the notification somewhere. Double checking. Oh, here you are, Blake, 5 minutes ago. Thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Thank you for taking the effort to donate through the Site 42 Ko-Fi, which has half the fees of a YouTube Super Chat, if not more, if the iPhone store is involved. So we appreciate you going through the effort so your donation goes further. Make sure to grab yourself a Hot Pocket on your way past the commissary. Hello, Dr. Sherman. I apologize for my late appearance to stream. I was enjoying some video gaming time. Hey, the way things are going right now, downtime is a necessary thing. You've got to take care of your mental health. We are the best of the best of the best, and we don't get that by overstressing ourselves. The Foundation Fitness Initiative is not just for people to be physically in shape to help them escape anomalies during containment breaches. It's also because endorphins make people happy. And happy people don't kill their husbands or don't cause containment breaches. So, yes, take your time as needed, just don't miss important shifts. Jasper, thank you for your newly minted membership as a level 1 researcher. We here at Site 42 appreciate your membership and your service, especially joining the ranks in the green names to help us win the battle against the white names. Dr. Sherman, am I allowed to hug SCP-134? Intern Moore, I am unfamiliar with that. Attention Site 42 staff, have I returned? Am I back in action? Is our signal clear? We're back. Excellent. All right. Another day, another attempt on Foundation channels. Ay, caramba. Where was I? We lost you at I was unfamiliar with that anomaly. Well, I have looked up Stella the Star-Eyed Child, and unfortunately for you, I'm going to have to decline your request to hug this anomaly. It seems to have a tenuous emotional state when dealing with staff members. It's a fragile situation. We would not want to cause anything that would jeopardize the well-being of the anomaly and therefore its containment. That said, if it was in a state of distress and a hug would aid in keeping containment, that would be the only time I would allow such a thing. VW, thank you for your first donation of today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some red hot chili peppers on your way past the commissary. What cognitohazards are encouraged by the Foundation for the average civilian, if any? Well, the got milk cognitohazard that helps us contain SCP-6542 was an extremely widespread and effective cognitohazard. There are several mild cognitohazards we can use for erasing memories on the fly without use of amnestics. If it's done quick enough, obviously. There's other scenarios that can work in the same manner. And obviously, the work for SCP-9001, codenamed Fractal, in creating the Berryman-Langford cognitohazard is also important to a vast array of cognitohazards we use in the Foundation. Dark Duality, thank you for donating again. Is it SCP-079 again? I didn't see a face come up and mock me during the hacking incident, so I don't think this was 079. Must have been someone else. Dark Duality, thank you for donating again to say Stella's blind, isn't she? It isn't it. Please practice proper pronoun parlance protocols at the Foundation. 2 black pits covered by transparent membrane, similar appearance to humanized membrane. Lacks eyelids, does not blink, nor can 134 see anything through these black areas. Correct. SCP-134 is completely blind, and therefore can read through Braille, and can speak in conversational English and Japanese. V-Dubs, thank you for donating again. Did the O5 cut your funding again and try cutting the feed, or was it the green goobers? I was not able to find out the trace of who hacked the stream this time. if I had any thoughts and suspicions, my first culprits would be the CI. They're still looking for that troop that's gone to ground somewhere near Site 42. We've been combing the area, but our ground troops have not been able to find those rogue CI agents who have the knowledge of George the Chinchilla, SCP-3086. And so they're probably trying to figure out if we have found their people. We've obviously got to find their people first, otherwise we're risking a very large informational collapse of multiversal proportions. Otherwise, I would worry about the Serpent's Hand just in general, or any other group of interest that wants intel on us. Michael Brandis, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Hey Doc, time check. Yes, we are currently approximately 90 minutes into this 3-hour stream. Good time for a time check, in fact. Well played. Meanwhile, since we're at the halfway mark, I might as well do a reintroduction in case anyone has shown up during the stream and doesn't know what the hell's going on here. So, in case you are new, welcome. I am Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director of Site 42 of the SCP Foundation. And this is Dr. Sherman's Office Hours, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site 42. Daily, for 6.5 months and counting, I go live here at Site 42, and for 30 minutes to 3 hours a day, answer your questions about the inner mysteries of the SCP Foundation. So if you have questions about the anomalies, or the staff that contain them, or the groups that are trying to stop us from containing them, or hypothetical containment procedures for anomalies that fall outside of the SCP Foundation's purview, perhaps from a different multiverse or pataphysical narrative level, I am here for the next 90 minutes to answer those queries. V-Dubs, thank you for donating again. Also, what does "do you recognize the bodies in the water" do? Are you supposed to recognize them or not? And what happens if the wrong thing happens? So, the code phrase, the cognitohazard test for SCP-2316 is "you do not recognize the bodies in the water." It is a statement, not a question. You must repeat. Let me see how many times it is. 2316. 2316. Yes, yes, level 4 secret. And so throughout, you must repeat the cognitohazard test phrase, "I do not recognize the bodies in the water," to make sure that you do not, in fact, recognize the bodies in the water. It is our job to tell you that you do not recognize the bodies in the water, and it is your job to tell you that I do not recognize the bodies in the water. What if we do recognize them? Well then, you are probably doomed. You are going to walk into that lake and become one, and there's not a whole lot we can do to stop you from a distance. So, better off training your cognitive resistance value, CRV, so that you are able to withstand the anomalous influence of that damnable lake. Whoop. Refreshing the chat. Dark Duality, thank you for donating again. So I got the info that the suit is following me. It's called G-Man. Is that a UIU thing? Sometimes we nickname them G-Men because, you know, they're with the feds. But this particular G-Man is a different person of interest. Doctor, I have an idea for an SCP. A welding machine that can weld any material on Earth or can weld any Earth-made material? Or does something similar already exist? Well, I'm fairly certain that that is not a thing on the wiki. And even if it were, while I look it up, reminder that any anomaly can be rewritten by another person, even if it exists on the wiki, provided you write it in a different enough manner. I mean, come on, we have multiple statues that move if you blink, but one of them snaps your neck and poops everywhere. One of them sneaks up behind you when you blink, so that when you turn around, it scares you. Ah! Startle! Scary! So slightly different, but they're still statues that move if you blink. So consider that, and write your own thing your way. It will probably be different than whatever anyone else did. Meanwhile, it does not seem that, wait, there is an entity wearing a welder suit. It does metalworking and welding. Okay, but it works with metal exclusively, not all materials like you seem to be doing. There is highly possible you could do a very interesting testing log of strange welding materials and the scenarios that are created when those things are welded together. And so I'm not saying it's impossible or a bad idea. I'm just saying, you know, now that you got an idea, that's the easy part. Now you got to write the thing and make it interesting so it survives the community vote. So good luck. Give it a try. Research other anomalies on the site and see what you find. Terragal, thank you for donating again. I left the transfer paperwork outside your door for you once you're done with the stream. Also, nice hair. It reminds me of Shadow the Hedgehog. You know, I haven't gotten that one yet. That's pretty funny. And thank you for leaving that documentation. I'll handle it after we're done with stream. V-Dubs, thank you for donating again. Why is almost everything anomalous in some way? What causes it? I beg to differ. I think that most things aren't anomalous. I would say that a lot of the world is quite normal. It just so happens there is a large amount of anomalies, but I wouldn't say it's most things. I would say it's less than the majority, that's for sure. Come on, don't be so dour. We're doing a good job containing anomalies. No, 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 no. Oh boy, do you vape? Intern depressed. Number 1, no I do not. Number 2, oh my word. How glad I am to be of the millennial generation, because many of our boomer and older generations were poisoned in the brain by lead from leaded gasoline. And then we got rid of that, and people were smarter because they had not intaken a bunch of lead. And now the younger generations who vape are getting lead in their brains from their vapes. And so it's like a millennial sandwich with lead brain on either side as the bread. That is rough. That is a rough place for humanity. We need less lead in our brains, please. Agent Hyper Laser, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. What? Damn, good thing I am banned from vapes. Yeah, look into vapes and lead. It is a very common problem right now. Uh-oh. Dark Duality, thank you for donating again. Oh, great. Sarcasm, by the way. At least not a Marshall Carter and Dark lackey. Oh, yeah, they're always trying... Marshall Carter and Dark does what they do so they can see if they can get any valuable anomalies off us. Or, if they're in talks with us to purchase an anomaly or sell it to us, then they want to get intel on negotiations on our end. That way they can shortchange us in the bidding wars. So it's a whole thing with them. V-Dubs, thank you for donating again. Oh, I thought you mentioned that everything was somewhat anomalous except for, like, a stop sign or something. Oh, okay. Okay, I gotta recalibrate for which universe we're talking about here. So, when we're talking about the, quote, normal stop sign, SCP-6383. So, the one true anomaly is a stop sign that is categorically 0.00% anomalous. Yes. So the thing is, the universe is always in flux. If you're familiar with how Humes function, Humes is the unit of measurement that we use to measure how real something is. And the way that works is that the quickest metaphor from the Guide to Hume's essay on the database, which you should look into later, is imagine a tabletop covered in sand. So most of the world is flat, level sand. But there are also mounds and divots, hills and valleys. The more sand or Humes in a spot, the more real that thing is. And the less sand in that spot, the less. And so, while everything has a default level of reality, there are fluctuations. And those things, if you are more real than the space around you, you can manipulate reality because you are more real than the lesser realities. Meanwhile, lesser reality areas with lower Humes are more easily manipulated. And so in that case, there are always minor fluctuations in anomalies and reality, but that is part of normalcy. That is part of normalcy, is that everything is in a percentage anomalous, but not enough to perceive the anomaly of it. Do you see what I mean? It's the difference between reality versus normalcy. Any word on updates concerning rules dating people from other groups of interest, asking for a friend? You cannot romantically fraternize with the enemy unless you are doing it as a mission to get information from them as a double agent. Brady, well, thank you for your 1-month member message as a level 1 researcher here at Site 42. We appreciate your membership and your service. Thanks for the free, I love the channel. Ah, you got gifted a membership. Well, congratulations. One of our generous membership gifters got you covered. Tundra Sherwood, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a packet of every flavor beans on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, I am trapped in Rapture. Oh, man. That's no bueno. Things are pretty rough down there from what I hear. You know, that whole Randian philosophy didn't go really well for them, did it? Huh? Maybe there was a bad plan there. Either way, you should probably hunker down, find an escape pod, and get the F out of there. Raccoon Dog, thank you for donating again. Steve update. Steve is finally, slowly recovering his memories. There's still no good information about what happened, where he went when he was inside and someone else was inside him. But at least he's starting to loose it up. So we enjoy that. Desk, please do not joke about Steve's demise. Jiminy sakes. You ever see the first episode, the pilot episode of Firefly? Because you ain't got much time left. Kaylee's dead. Oh, what a psychopath. Wacky fun, Desk. Wacky fun. Okay, so hypothetically, if I fall for someone, but then later I'll find they're a part of the CI, but neither of us talk about work, and only I know they are CI, could we be together, hypothetically, of course? No! Duh! We're not Romeo and Julieting the Foundation and the Chaos Insurgency. Niet. Nay. No. I'm in your basement. Well, yes, we locked you there for being anomalous. Duh. Why do you foreign language so much? Well, I am a trained singer. I have had to sing songs in French and in German and in Italian and other languages in the past, so they just kind of creep into your vernacular from time to time. When I was hanging out with Radiger and Toad King over in Utah, the bartender, I said something like, "Hola, mon ami," and he was like, "Did you just speak Spanish and French at me?" Yes, I did. What is your favorite anomaly? Well, I always tell you my favorite SCPs at the end of stream. It's a bit of a tradition around these parts. And as a time check, we are currently 110 minutes into a 180-minute stream. So we are 1 hour and 10 minutes left from the end of stream, 70 minutes. So if you want to hang out that long, you can hear my favorite SCPs as is tradition around these parts. Or if you want to cheat, you could donate and ask, and then I just tell you. Or you can go to yesterday's stream where at the end I told you, and you can watch the ending. New question. How do I break up with someone in the CI? Hypothetically, of course. Well, here's what you do. You set up a date with them, and then you bring them to a planned location with agents at the ready to kidnap them and interrogate them. That's a pretty good sign you're going to break up with them, to be fair. Plus, then we get some intel out of it, so at least there's a benefit. Raccoon Dog, thank you for donating again, and this time thank you for the effort of going through the Ko-Fi. We really appreciate your work. Poor Steve was taken from us too soon. Leave a flower by the grave for me. Not dead. The Steve is not dead. The Steve is not dead. I'm so glad the Steve is not dead. Mega Sizemore Man, thank you for your first donation of today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a chili cheese dog on your way past the commissary. Also, before I miss it, Labeled BB, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Good afternoon, Dr. Sherman. Intern Mega reporting for duty. My studies so far have proven futile, but I will keep at it as necessary, unless you need me to do anything else you need. Okay, well, yes, you were going through the database yesterday of those archives of multi-universal foundations, but if you're on to something else now, if I understand research burnout, and it is good to jump people to other anomalies in that case. So how about you take a break from those archives, and you can observe some tests and take notes on SCP-772, codename the Giant Parasitoid Wasps. I'm sure that more researchers could use data and notes on the giant parasitoid wasps. I'm sure that there is plenty of research to be done there, more notes to be given. So yes, please, go handle that. Right. Test Subject Cubby, thank you for your level 1 researcher message of 1 month. We appreciate your membership and your service here at the Foundation. Facility Core says meltdown. What do I do? Well, run the clearance cycle and get it cleaned up in a double. We don't want any trouble with exploding Foundation sites right now. Refreshing the chat. Mega Sizemore Man, thank you for donating again. Understood, Dr. Sherman. Intern Mega, over and out. Could keep up the good work, Intern Mega. How many anomalies are there on Earth? Intern Elizabeth, there are too many to name, and we are constantly discovering new ones, so it's very hard to tell. Dr. Sherman, would the Borderlands of the series Alice in Borderlands be classified as an SCP? If it would be, how exactly would it be tested on? So I'm unfamiliar with this property, but I can peek at it and see what I discover. What I do know first and foremost is that anything off of the SCP database is considered an anomaly, but not an SCP, because to be an SCP, it has to be on the SCP database and written as an SCP. There are plenty of anomalies in the hands of the Serpent's Hand or the Global Occult Coalition that, while anomalous, are not SCPs, even though they are canon to the SCP universe. So, an anomaly outside of the SCP database definitely is not an SCP. Alice in Borderland. Suddenly transported to an alternate, desolate Tokyo, where they must play life or death games to survive. So they are transported to an alternate universe, so that is a... the question is, can we find a way in and out of it? As I said, I'm not familiar with this property, therefore I do not know how they get in and out of it. If there is a means to get in and out of this alternate universe cleanly, then we would, of course, try our best to lock that down, stop people from going in and out, and then utilize that as testing for an exploration log. It would be an anomalous area of interest, for sure. Mobile Task Force Captain Money Garbers, thank you for your 1-month member messages of Mobile Task Force Captain Site 42. We appreciate your membership and your service. Hello, Dr. Sherman. Any chance I can get a meeting with 343 or 999? The 999 schedule open up. Some intern earlier stupidly shoved his whole head inside 999 and nearly suffocated. What an idiot. So yes, you can take that spot for 999. Check, check. Check, check. Site 42 staff, do you read? Do you read? Do you read? Are we back? Someone is very persistent today. Let me get a hold of the Artificial Intelligence Applications Department. All right, the AIAD, please look into our signal issues. The Artificial Intelligence Applications Division is active. All right, we'll see what we get there. In the meantime, where did I get cut off? What was I speaking of? So I was speaking to intern Elizabeth there, at least when I found out that I was lagging, and I was saying the difference between an SCP and an anomaly is simply whether it has an SCP article written about it. Anything anomalous, anomalies are things that do not follow the laws of physics, that are abnormal. But SCPs are specifically anomalies that require SCP documents and special containment procedures. We have an entire log of anomalous items that are not SCPs because they're so easy to contain or deal with that we don't bother. And so the log of anomalous items is low effort or just one-time events that never happened again. SCPs are specifically anomalies that we have to contain using certain means to make sure they stay contained. Baby Saja and Soul Girl, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Oh, I'd love to see that list, haha. Well, Intern Kuro, it is on the SkipNet database. Log of anomalous items is right there for you. The Real Noli, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a... Grab yourself some anchovies on your way past the commissary. I just love cutting off streams. Oh yes, it's the time of our lives. So much fun. Dark Duality, thank you for donating again. Well, temporary deaths, and someone threw Steve out of his body. Someone made a very fan-arty art of Mallow. Is it a girl? 4477, help us. I don't like anything about that sentence. I will take amnestics after stream to forget that. You can enter the Borderlands by stopping your heart for less than 2 minutes. Any longer and you die for real. Once inside, you must clear every card game. Hearts, spades, clubs, and diamonds to return. So that's a pretty hard way to get in and out. I don't believe then... Well, it is possible, though. So it seems that we could send people in to research, but getting them out would be pretty difficult. Still, it's something we would investigate and do our best to figure out what the hell's going on in there. New question, she found out I was Foundation. Tonight's date was a setup. How do I escape? Well, how are you texting me in the middle of an ambush? Aren't our agents there helping you because it was a setup for us as well? It was a double setup. It was a triple cross. I don't know, get the hell out of there. Ten Zoms, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a rice ball on your way past the commissary. Have you met site director Thomas Graham? Thomas Graham. Maybe at an all-staff meeting? The name sounds familiar. Site director of Site 17 and main antagonist of the Deep Well catalog. If he's very nasty and small and not in an endearing way, I'm putting him in the garbage and punching his stupid little ribs. I despise him. Okay. No. I guess I am not categorically knowledgeable about site director Thomas Graham. But I guess he does sound like a real douche nozzle. You know how the coffee maker can make a liquid that could kill 682? Could you get a bunch of that and store it somewhere until you have enough to kill it? Well, intern Connor McGerald, you do remember that we used a separate anomaly, a stone turtle, on which if you pour a liquid, it starts raining that liquid? We literally had an entire rainstorm of that liquid fall on 682, and it was not enough to get it to the cellular level of death that it could not regenerate. And so, yeah, we could 1 cup at a time stock up on the fluid, but it regenerates at such a pace that that is not an effective stratagem. Okay, so good news. The CI that I was dating is actually an undercover agent. She thought I was CI. All right, well, after you two are done Spider-Man memeing at each other, get back to site, and you are going through some seminars as punishment for this whole finacle. Do you know how much resources we had deploying agents to back both of you up? I'm going to talk to her superior officer too. I'm sure that we're going to have a very in-depth conversation about what you're going to get as recompense for all this hassle. Dark Duality, thank you for donating again. Mallow or Steve thing do you need amnestics for? Well, it seemed the way you said them that they were related somehow, which terrifies me. And so I thought it was both. But for one or the other, it's definitely the second one. Traffic Cone, thank you for your 1-month member message as a level 1 researcher. We appreciate your membership and your service. And thank you for using your generous member message to send a little smiley face. Adorable. Oh, I haven't gotten to say this today. User by the name of Jack Bright 963-J. A reminder or a notice, if you haven't seen it, that in our chat here at Site 42, we never talk about the character of SCP, formerly known as Dr. Bright. This is because, as the moderator is telling you in the chat, the author of Dr. Bright, who created the character as a self-insert, was alleged to have done some really heinous stuff. And where there's smoke, there's probably fire, and I don't want to involve with it. So the greater SCP community has excised Dr. Bright from the canon, replacing him with multiple characters such as Dr. Elias Shaw or Dr. Lachlan Cairns. But we do not talk about Bruno here, and Moderator Desk has left a video from our channel called The Last Death of Jack Bright if you want to see a summary of the issues, with links to deeper evidentiary videos if wanted. But this is our daily iteration of we don't talk about Bruno. It's not a big flaw with you. Most of the offsite community doesn't know about this, so we're not mad at you or anything. I just want you to know, we don't roleplay that character. We don't talk to that character here at Site 42. This is the first time I'm hearing of it. My bad. That's what I figured. No big deal. And so, yes, check out the videos I'm talking about for more information. But just so you know, I may answer your messages if you come up with a very good question or something, but I'm definitely not going to refer to you by that user handle. Yeah, the SCP Wiki has about 1,000 to 2,000 authors, maybe between 2,000 and 3,000 nowadays, I'm not sure, and about 15,000 to 20,000 users. But the fandom is millions of people. So millions of people in the world who never visit the SCP Wiki itself, but are casual fans, we don't expect them to know this, which is why I am fine bringing it up once in a blue moon to spread the word. Money Garbers, thank you for donating again. Just curious, but what are the Foundation's rules on practicing witchcraft magic in our free time? Asking for a friend. Well, if you're in the thaumaturgy department, we expect you as part of your duties to practice thaumaturgical magics. Obviously. Now in your free time, you might have to talk to your superior officers, make sure that you're doing things in a manner that will not cause trouble for your site director. But if you're in thaumaturgy, we expect you to go down that route. Intern Mega, thank you for donating again. I've done some research on SCP-772, and from what I have, they are semi-intelligent creatures when it comes to reproductive means, often cutting no more than 3 centimeters in length, however are able to use such a tool as a weapon too. Oh, interesting. They, wasps that are capable of use of tools. I don't like that. Good researching, though. It's good for us to be prepared. Dr. Sherman, your thoughts on SCPs being used as operatives? Well, it's a risky situation because anomalies have a inherent want to not be contained, and so they may take the opportunity as a psych out to simply escape containment when convenient. So, before putting an SCP onto any sort of profession within the Foundation, they need to be thoroughly tested for their loyalty. Can 131s, the iPods, possibly hold SCP-173 in place by staring at it forever with their big eyes? Intern Kino, while yes, the 131s can stall 173, there's only 2 of them, and it's not exactly ethical to sit there and make those anomalies stare at 173 all day forever. Especially when we can simply lock 173 in its containment cell and clean it out once a day with proper application of D-Class. So we can avoid being cruel to the 131s by doing what we do now. So yeah, we're not going to do that. Plus, they are little creature-like anomalies, and having them roam around in the muck that 173 drops, the poop and blood mixture, is just gross. Is it possible to survive the SCP-173 by blinking one eye at a time and keeping a gun next to you? Well, the blinking one eye at a time thing is a very common thought process about 173, but here's the trick of it. Have you ever actually practiced it and then watched a recording of yourself? Most people do not blink one eye at a time normally. And so what happens when you try is the other eye micro-blinks because the muscles are inherently linked unless you have practiced isolating your eye blinks. The likelihood, unless you have practiced well, is you're going to accidentally micro-blink yourself to death. And that is if the joke that SCP-173 gets mad at you for breaking the rules and just snaps your neck anyways doesn't happen. Or gets mad at you for breaking the rules and pulls out a gun of its own and shoots you then. Meanwhile, not a lot of guns are going to be very helpful against a concrete and rebar statue. You can put a little hole in it, it's still going to get you. So, not exactly useful information here. It's produced Keno. Okay, Keno, I'll try to remember that for last time. You know, I think Keno is a gambling game of some sort. That's what I was familiar with. Also, isn't there a... Yeah, there's a kid named Keno in the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live-action film. Damn fine movie. Or was that the second one? Oh, even in the comics. Neat, didn't know that. By the way, Site 42 staff, we are currently at the 40 minutes remaining in-stream point. The 40 minutes remaining in-stream point. There's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle live-action movies, question mark. Lucas the Wolf, are you trying to hurt me? Are you trying to hurt the soul of an old man? Yes. Yes. There were. And they were fire. Even the third one. People hate on it, they're wrong. Intern Noli, thank you for donating again. Do you like SCP? Well, I like containing SCPs so that they don't break normalcy for civilians, but I do not like anomalies in their existent state because they are abnormal. I want them contained. If you're talking about the SCP fandom from a higher pataphysical level, then yes, I do enjoy that. When did you become interested in the SCP stuff? Well, intern Pepsican. I was introduced to the SCP universe sometime back. 12 to 13 years ago is when I remember knowing about SCP, but I don't remember exactly when. But about 12 to 13 years ago. I've been researching SCP-096. Is he real? Intern Denise. No SCP is real. We do not keep up kayfabe when people ask if SCPs are real, because back when Slender Man was very popular, some kids decided to stab their friend because Slender Man told them to. Now, whether they were pretending that they thought it was real and instead they just did it, stab their friend for evil reasons, or whether they were truly delusional and thought that Slender Man told them to do this, doesn't matter. The point is, we drop kayfabe and we tell people that SCP is not real when asked. We do not roleplay through it because we don't want bad things to happen. I discovered recently that VHS Halloween has a short film very similar to Diet Ghost. Ooh, very interesting. I am, in fact, interested about this. I'll have to check that out sometime. Silly Oliver Fan. It is always okay to ask questions. In fact, that is what we are here for. But if you waste your question by asking if you can ask questions, there's no guarantee I'll see your actual question. So ask away. See if you get lucky. Donate if you want a guaranteed answer. Attention Site 42 staff, please do a site director a solid. I utilize the app known as Discord for business purposes almost exclusively. Please do not friend the site director willy-nilly. Just 1 second, I'm handling something in the back channels. Okay. Refreshing the stream, refreshing the stream. Intern Mega, thank you for donating again. In terms of containment, SCP-772 is contained in an 18 by 18 by 9 meter enclosure, which is contained within a 20 by 20 by 10 meter hermetically sealed chamber with a capacity of 15 maximum for safety precautions. 772 agitate each other when in mass. That sounds great. I hate bugs of all kinds. I want nothing to do with any containment breaches of bugs or spider anomalies. So yes, lock them the hell down. As locked down as possible. Big fan. Got a question for you, Doc. What are your thoughts on SCP-3108? Dr. Williams, SCP-3108, the nerfing gun, is an amazingly fun anomaly. Use it responsibly. Are vampires any type of SCP or anomaly? Intern Elizabeth. There was once a famous SCP about a vampire called Duke. And Duke, formerly SCP-083, was decommissioned, which is when the SCP authors back in the day of the early SCP Wiki used to take articles that they didn't like as a community and not just delete them, but write full stories about destroying them in comical ways, which kind of got mean-spirited toward the authors who wrote the anomaly, so they stopped doing that for a while. But 083 is part of one of the most famous decommissionings, known as Duke Till Dawn. Now, meanwhile, Desk is alerting me that there is a, quote, Dracula factory called SCP-2191. I hate the sound of that. Is this legitimately vampires? Vampire attacks, okay. Yep, 2191 is in fact vampires. Cool. For your amusement, Site 42 staff, and so you know what I'm doing in the back channels as well as not to worry, Desk, who is probably confused why I'm typing the back channels so much. I am currently negotiating for the site director of Site 74 to try and arrange Pizza Day to be tomorrow, as was asked earlier in stream, for on-site Pizza Day. But I'm being told by the director there to prove how much I want it by getting an additional 50 members of Site 42 green named before the end of stream, which ends in 30 minutes. So I'm being told by Site 74's director that I can have SCP-458 for Pizza Day tomorrow if we get 50 members by the end of stream. Now, we did get 6 memberships earlier. That was from Voidly Squared. And so if we can get 44 more, then Site 74 site director will relinquish the Infinite Pizza Box. Raccoon Dog, Jiminy sakes! 10 right off the gate. That is a hit the ground running amount of memberships. Thank you for your gifted memberships. Building up the green names. Mega Sizemore Man became a member. Yes, that counts. It doesn't have to be gifted. You can become a member too. All right, that brings us to 16, 17 memberships. 33 remaining before ending of stream. Desk, continue to keep track of those memberships. Thank you for your service as always. The King. The concept of the nerfing gun is funny to me. All it takes is a modded nerf blaster with the words OP please nerf and some anomalous shenanigans, and now you can downgrade things. Well, I would focus more on the anomalous shenanigans. That's probably what really did the work. I don't think the marker on it made that job happen. Mega Sizemore, Intern Mega, thank you for gifting 10 Site 42 memberships. Thank you for gifting 10 Site 42 memberships to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team of the Day. I thought you were leaving, you said. Thank you for donating again to say you were leaving. And good work on your research today, but also thank you for gifting 10 more memberships. We are over halfway to tomorrow being Pizza Day at Site 42. If we get 23 more memberships, tomorrow becomes Pizza Day, and we get to rub it in this Director of Site 74's stupid face. So thank you for your service in this task. Let's hope we can finish the job. The Real Noli, thank you for donating again. Which SCP can stop your pen spinning? No SCP in the verse can do that. Unless they, take away both my hands and or kill me, then they certainly could do that. Do site directors have a lot of rivalry? Oh God, of course. The Site Director Council is all sorts of infighting and one-upmanship. You gotta be savvy to survive these shark-infested waters. Dr. Sherman, have you tried quitting your job? Maybe you will meet the fire suppression department. Well, you said FSD department. It's FSD, or fire suppression department. You wouldn't say fire suppression department, would you? But anyways, no. I don't want to meet them. Also, I'm just not ready to retire. I'm currently happy with my job. Bro, you work at Anomaly Central and just lick your hands? Terrible lab safety. I'm in the audiophonics lab. There's no anomalies nearby, and I accidentally got pen ink on myself. Sis. Will there be a pizza alternative to those of us from dimensions where people are allergic to pizza? Intern friends. So Pizza Day is Pizza Day, but the commissary always has food alternatives, so you don't have to worry about that. Intern Mega, thank you for your 1-month member message as a level 1 researcher, saying I have one more gift I can provide, thank you. Well, no, thank you for your gifting, for what you have done. That's not 1, that's 10. That brings us to 37. 37 gifted Site 42 total members gained today. Congratulations, you are almost there, people. 13 members left for Pizza Day tomorrow. I'm gonna have to figure out how to fit a table in the audiophonics lab so I can eat pizza on stream. Also, you better show up at the start of stream tomorrow if it's Pizza Day. You better make sure that you have your bell rung here on YouTube and or in the Site 42 Discord server. You have the role of YouTube Live Alerts, the red dot, because I am not going to eat pizza the entire stream. This isn't a mukbang. I will eat pizza at the beginning of stream as much as I want to have for lunch, and that will be it. So yes, you better be here at the start for pizza day. When is Taco Tuesday? Intern Green, I will have to check in on that. Put SCP-682 in 087? No. Because we don't know where it goes at the bottom. And it could end up somewhere very unfortunate if there is a bottom. Since 682 is basically immortal, it has a statistically significant chance to either reaching the end, if there is one, or if there's some sort of exit out, it can get away. Plus, more than likely, as Dr. Frogman has clearly pointed out, it can just climb back out. Intern Mega, thank you for donating again to say, remind me the location of the Discord server. So here's the deal. Before I tell you, reminder, the Site42 Discord server is age-gated. You must be 18 or older, the same rules as the SCP Foundation official Discord server and the SCP Wiki. So don't go looking for it if you are not of age. That's against the rules. Furthermore, not only do you have to be 18, but you have to be clever enough to find the Discord server. It's a bit of an Easter egg hunt. It's a bit of a mystery, but there are clues to where to find it. Clues that especially if you watch the end of streams, you might pick up on. You might find the link somehow. So, while I can't tell you straight up, I can give you those details and wish you the best. If you are able to find it, you are deserving. And if you're of age. Indigos, welcome to Site42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Glitch Trap, Intern Glitch Trap. We are currently at 25 minutes until the end of stream. 25 minutes until the end of stream, approximately. Thanks for the gift sub. We've had a very friendly day of gifted memberships today. Dakebo Boy. So congratulations on your luck in getting one of them. Intern Mega, thank you for donating again to say valid and fair. Thank you, Dr. Sherman. I will wait. Very kind of you to follow protocols. That's the thing we like most about SCP Foundation staff, is following the rules, both on the wiki and in the Discord servers and in Civilization. Follow the proper protocols. Usually good things happen. Is SCP-682 more of a croc/gator or monitor lizard? Interesting question, Intern Bo Gaskins. So, looking at the photograph of 682, see, it's described in text as a vaguely reptile-like creature of unknown origin. Photographically speaking, it speaks to me to be more monitor lizard-ish. But of course, there is no canon, and in different universes, it does have slightly different appearances. Goose Goose! Thank you for gifting another Site 42 membership to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. This brings us to, I believe, 38 gifted memberships out of the 50 we need for tomorrow to be Pizza Day. And the Castle, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. It's an orca. Look at the skull. Intern Lucas, you might want to look at the database because the image is not the one you're thinking of anymore. There have been some changes to its physiology. And physiognomy. SC Pizza Party. Damn right, Intern Pix. It is the super cool pizza party. You know it. Intern Kirkland. My day has been quite well. I got a lot of good errands done. We are doing well today indeed. What would happen if SCP-3000 went against 2467? Well, I remember what SCP-3000 is, but what is SCP-2467? That number off the top of my head doesn't come to great. A sum greater than its parts is its code name. Large ocean-going ship, 300 meters in length and 45 meters in width. Of note is that it's adverse and time violent conditions. Moderate rainstorms, thick fog. Doesn't bother 3000, it's underwater. There's a rain, wind, and fog detailed above. Winds have been known to reach 125 kilometers per hour. Again, 3000 is underwater. So it's a ship, anomalous ship that is completely surrounded by terrible weather. Oh, wait. Boom, boom. Gotta fix something here as I read this. Good. It has a crew. It abducts people to be on their crew. I mean, it seems like... First of all, it doesn't seem like they would really get in a fight with 3000. Seemed like it would just sail over 3000. We'd have more trouble with it as the Foundation with ships in the area. So we would be more likely to get in a fight with it than it would. I mean, I would just say that 3000 is so much vastly larger than 2467 that it really doesn't matter. Not likely that 2467 could even have an effect on 3000. Intern Mega, thank you for gifting another Site 42 membership, I think that is. Is that 39? Am I counting right? I don't know when that was, 6:51 p.m. just now. So yes, that looks like you gifted another one while I was reading about that, if I'm correct. I just read the Ethics Committee orientation article and in turn 231, and oh my. Woo! Goose. Yeah, that is ooh, that's a rough jump. Indeed. That's a tough jump, but yeah, that is especially back when the SCP Wiki was a lot more edgelord than it is today, to be sure. Furthermore, O5 Council, just to point it out, memberships, when they are gifted, are assigned randomly. So no one can gift you a membership except for you purchasing one for yourself. when gifted memberships are bought, they are randomized throughout all of the subscribers of Site 42. But there is beneficial treatment given to more active subscribers. So the more active you are on our comments, watching, chats, in stream, stuff like that, the more likely you are to get a gifted membership when some are gifted. So if you cannot afford to get your own, just make sure to keep being active, and eventually you too will end up with one. I will gift a sub if someone not from my stream can remember one of my favorite SCPs. That is Desk Talking. I was doing a desk impersonation there, so do not think that was me. But I think that would bring us to 40, leaving only 10 left for Pizza Day. And with 16 minutes left on the clock, we're starting to cut it close. Dr. Sherman, what's your favorite Undertale character? Favorite Undertale character? A lot of good options. It's a great game with excellent character writing. I think of the main characters, I hate to be cliche, but I gotta go with the Bone Brothers. The combination of Papyrus and Sans is just too excellent. Both of them with their hidden depths. Very cool, with a forthcoming front personality and then secret hidden depths behind them. Love that for both of them. It's really hard to choose between the two of them. Furthermore, if I had to pick someone who is not one of the mains, I would have to go with Burger Pants. Burger Pants, endlessly funny. Dr. Sherman, what do you think of SCP-8980? One of the best pieces of writing on the SCP Wiki. It's one of my favorite SCPs for a reason. Also, Tenzums, did you know that it has a sequel now? For its 1-year anniversary this past October, the author Yossi put out a tale called Feminine Whales. Whales spelled W-A-I-L-S. And it is a list of poetry regarding the different characters of 8980. You might find that interesting. The Montage Zid, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Go ahead and grab yourself some nachos on your way past the commissary. Hello, Dr. Sherman, how's it going? I was wondering why is it 999 in its room, and why is there an empty Coke bottle on the table? So A, it's going pretty well overall. B, don't worry about that this time. What happened is some stupid intern stuck his entire head inside SCP-999 trying to drown himself. What the hell? So after we removed everyone from the containment cell, one of the cleanup crew and the meds shared a Coke, and that's why it's left in there. It wasn't given to 999 this time. How do SCPs get their numbers and code names? Is there a system for doing so? Intern Blake. When you go to the SCP database and you look at the series pages, such as series, let's say series 3 right now, then what you get is a list of SCPs and their numbers. So this is series 3. And for every number, there is a title, a code name of an SCP. But if I go to the newest series, Series 10, which is the 9000s, then as I scroll down the code names, you'll start to see Access Denied all over the place. Access Denieds are designations that are free. And so people write their SCP, and when they finish, they pick a number. And if the article survives, then there we go. Oh, gonna have to fix that in a minute. Hold on. All right. Refreshing the chat. Site 42 staff, I'm looking at 11 minutes left on this stream, and I believe we're still at 39 out of the 50 gifted memberships for Pizza Day. So, get it done. That's how we do it. Rave Haven, how does XP work? Been getting it, but I have no idea why. It's a YouTube feature. They're trying to entice people to engage more. And so they give you XP for each message you send, I think up to a certain point. Then you get extra XP for donating things as well. And so they're trying to entice people to engage more in the stream and support creators. It is something they turned on automatically when it became available, and so it is what it is. I tried writing an SCP I asked last live, but I couldn't get past the special containment procedures. I just stared at the laptop and shut like a big baby. Plus, I learned I have to be 18 plus. Intern caution, yes. First of all, you do have to be 18 to join the wiki and post. And there are rules against submitting through a proxy, so that's not going to work. But the good news is if you are under the age of 18, first of all, make sure you have permission to watch Site 42 streams, because remember, we talk about violent and sexual subjects as part of the SCP fandom. It is a very adult subject sometimes, so make sure you're not going to get in trouble for this. I can't control who sees the channel, but I can say it's not for children. That being said, the good news for you is at your youth, you are in the prime of your life for learning new skills. So practicing your writing, taking classes for reading, and stuff like that would be fabulous for improving your skills now while you're young and quicker to learn things than fogies like me who take a lot longer just because of the neuroplasticity in our brains going down as we age. So practice your writing, take writing classes and stuff like that. Read everything you can get your hands on, both SCPs and non-SCPs, and improve your craft now while you're young and you're capable. I believe in you. Make art. And hey, if it turns out writing just isn't something you're interested in, find another artistic outlet. That's cool too. When I finish the story for my SCP, where do I submit it for voting? Intern Arnold, or sorry, no, Researcher Arnold. Researcher? I'm sorry, when it comes to green names, I want to call you Doctor or Overseer or Mobile Task Force Captain, but it never tells me what level of membership you are in the chat. It would be very convenient if YouTube would tell me that somehow. So I apologize. So, Arnold, Blake, green name Arnold. If you go to the upper left of the SCP homepage, you will find this, you will find the sidebar. And on the sidebar, you will find This highlighted section called Guide for Newcomers, join the site, contribute, frequently asked questions, and Universe Hub in the Getting Started section. This is where you get the information you seek. Go forth and prosper. Site 42 staff, we currently have a time check of 6.5 minutes left in stream. Pizza Day's goal is 11 memberships left. So either gifts the memberships or become members, and we can get those last 11 memberships to make tomorrow Pizza Day. Also get your last questions in, because we are about to end our stream. What would happen if I hug SCP-096? Intern Kirkland. If you do not look at its face, you live. If you look at its face, you die. Hugging is not a factor. Are there any sword SCPs? Well, intern age, the answer is there are plenty of anomalous swords within the Foundation. My favorite of which is the sword that can cut anything. Obviously, very typical kind of anomaly, as you would expect. But there is one catch. SCP-6572 is completely unaffected by friction because it can cut anything. It also is not in containment because some idiot dropped it point down, and it shot through the Earth and out the other side, and came back and forth until Earth's gravity slingshotted it out into the universe, where it flies forevermore, until it lands sideways on another planet or something. So, at this point, SCP-6572 is considered neutralized. But you can look in the tag for anomalous weapons. Obviously, some will not be swords, but many will be swords. You can also type the word sword in the search function on the site for more sword content. Dr. Sherman, if I may, why does SCP-106 not breach containment whenever he wants? All SCPs and anomalies are objects, not people. 106 is an it, not a he. Please practice proper pronoun parlance protocols at the Foundation. Because it can just phase through its inner containment cell and then drop off or jump onto the floor. So the thing about 682's containment is, yes, it can go through walls. It can go in one side of the wall and come out the other side. Yes, that's true. So what we did is we contained it within, and look at the SCP's special containment procedures. I'm telling you all this, but it's right there in the document, by the way. Radical Larry is contained in a multi-layered box where every layer is made out of, I believe, lead. If not lead, it's a specific metal that 106 has the most trouble going through. And in between those layers are liquid, which 106 cannot go through walls of liquid. It has to unspawn and respawn through the next wall. And sometimes it gets lost and confused and ends up going back where it came from. So it takes longer and longer and longer for it to get out of that maze of layers of boxes and fluid. Of course, eventually it will get out and we have to run our containment procedures and get the femur breaker out and stuff like that. But in the meantime, that much works. Sir, can I go on my break, please? I've been taking notes on that other SCP we contained. Intern Freakenflum. Are you watching this stream while on duty? You're not on break right now? You know that's against protocol. Distracted guarding is how we get containment breaches. That is a serious demerit on your record. What is your opinion on the tale Date Night? Oh, intern horror. Why would you bring that to my mind? Ugh. What Dr. Clef and SCP-173 get up to under the watchful eyes of the D-Clef that Clef makes watch is none of my business. Ugh. What is your opinion on SCP-009? Well, Intern Haven, I don't remember that designation off the top of my head, but I'll take a quick look. Red Ice. My opinion on it is a dangerous anomaly. That's all there is to it. It's dangerous. Glad it's in containment. SCP stands for Secure, Contain, Protect. Well, Intern Stir, that is somewhat true. But before that was the informal motto of the Foundation. It was SCP initially stood for simply Special Containment Procedures. This is Special Containment Procedure 682. This is Special Containment Procedure 113. This is the original meeting. And then we reverse engineered Secure, Contain, Protect after the fact because it was it's a cool motto. And in 11 more subs, SCP, or 11 more memberships, SCP will stand for Spicy Crust Pizza. That is correct, Desk, but only if those 11 members are gifted or join before I finish the outro, because we are officially at the end of stream. And so, now that I am beginning the outro, Site-42 staff, we have made it to the end of today's office hours. And as always at the end of stream, I tell you guys my favorite SCPs. But of course, I'm not going to tell you guys that my favorite SCPs are the ones I personally wrote. That would be cheating. That would be narcissistic. No! But if you did want to read the SCPs that I personally wrote for the SCP Wiki, you can go to the Sherm's author page in Site-42 Hub on the Wiki. There you can see all of the SCPs I personally wrote, as well as did voice lines or sound effects for. And one tab over from those SCPs, there's some links. Some links that people are very often interested in finding, and they ask about them, but they never do the due diligence to find them. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? And so I would recommend maybe you check there if you want to find those links. Links like becoming a Patreon patron of Site-42, or a YouTube channel member if you want to donate to us monthly. You can do Ko-Fis or YouTube Super Chats if you want to donate to us one at a time. Or, if you're part of the Broke Gang, and trust me, in this economy, with an arts community, we know all too well about starving artists, and that is okay. If you cannot donate directly to help us keep the lights on, which, trust me, we do appreciate you guys who can do that. But even if you're part of the Broke Gang, as long as you are watching our videos and commenting, as long as you are here in stream, hitting that like button and chatting, as long as you do the like, share, subscribe dance that YouTube wants us all to do to boost engagement, then you are an honored and valuable member of Mobile Task Force Site-42, codename the Signal Boosters. And because of your service, your valorous service, the YouTube algorithm gives us more and more people. Some who didn't know we existed, but they love the SCP Foundation and are glad to find us. Some who have never heard of SCP in their goddamn lives, but maybe they're D&D nerds or some sort of other kind of nerd that fits in with our idiom. And that is how we get more people into the SCP fandom. And that is how we support the SCP Wiki and its authors, artists, animators, game devs, filmmakers like Andrea Joshua Asnikar here on YouTube, who just dropped a 45-minute SCP live-action short film called I Do Not Recognize the Bodies in the Water that you can watch right here on YouTube after we sign off. Also, our SCP merch makers. Because of you, Mobile Task Force Site-42, we are mighty, and the SCP fandom is mighty. So thank you for your service. Now, without further ado, my favorite SCPs in no particular order are SCP-3999, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-5175, SCP-5320, and SCP-8980. Content warning on that last one, it is a bit of a rough read. Speed round. 3999-3043-008-J, Spooky-J, 5031-5175-5320-8980. Content warning on the last one, it's a rough read. Site-42 staff, I have been Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director of Site-42. And this has been another Dr. Sherman's Office Hours, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast of Site-42. Anomalous broadcast from Site-42. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you learned something. Oh, Desk has gifted a membership. Thank you, Desk, for your generosity in the chat. That gives us 40 of 50. Pizza Day is at risk if we can get 10 more memberships before I finish the credit song. 10 more memberships before I finish the credit song. That's your last time. And so, I hope you had fun today. I hope you learned something. Be safe, be well, and as always, secure, contain, protect. I'll see you at the next video or stream. I'm at the Pizza Hut. I'm at the Taco Bell. I'm at the combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell. I'm at the Pizza Hut. I'm at the Taco Bell. I'm at the combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell. We're at the Pizza Hut. We're at the Taco Bell. We're at the combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell. We at the Pizza Hut. We at the Taco Bell. We're at the combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell. Well, it happened. Site-42 staff, thanks to Raccoon Dog's very generous, very last-minute donation, we now have 50 gifted memberships. I will, due to the generosity and success and might of our containment hazard assessment team of the day, procure some pizza so that Pizza Hut pizza party tomorrow is pizza day. And Site-74 site director can suck it. So yes, I will acquire 458 and we will have pizza tomorrow. I will see you at tomorrow's pizza party, which, by the way, someone asked when it's going to be. Tomorrow is probably going to be an early stream. You could expect me probably around 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Early stream. You have been warned. Pizza Day. Tomorrow. Be there. Or be square. Like a square pizza. Yes, Desk, I'll see you at the Sherman Chomps Pizza. Remind me that that is the name of tomorrow's stream. Oh, and Desk says, make sure to vote for us in the Streamer Awards. Go to the link in the chat since we're leaving now anyways. Link in the support link. Vote for us for the nominations for the Streamer Awards. For Best Vertical Streamer, Best Just Chatter, Best Role Player, Hidden Gem, and League of Our Own. Longest outro ever. Thank you, everyone who gifted memberships, for your generosity. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We'll see you tomorrow.